People keep telling me China is depressed. So let me ask you a question then. If China is depressed, why did the streets feel like an anthill that never sleeps? I'm just back from China, and what I saw doesn't match the picture many people in Europe have in their heads. Stay with me until the end, because the biggest surprise wasn't real estate or the economy. It was the energy and what's happening right now with AI and stablecoins. A bit of context. I don't just visit China like tourists. Twice a year, I spend a total of 3 to 4 months there. Most of my time is on the international campus of a top university. I work with Chinese colleagues and I talk with students from China and from many countries in the global south. And outside campus life, I meet Chinese business contacts and friends. We sit down, we eat, we drink, we talk. A lot. So what I'm sharing isn't secondhand. It comes from being immersed in everyday Chinese life, across places like Shenzhen, Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Beijing, and also in smaller, lesser-known cities like Haining. You can decide now for yourself whether that puts me in a position to offer a more realistic picture of China. The Chinese economy. Yes, slower, but not at all depressed. Let's be honest, China's economy is not as strong as it used to be. Real estate is still not fully solved. Consumer confidence is not great. Consumption is improving a bit, but it's not booming. And youth unemployment, yes, it's a serious topic. So, if you only look at numbers, you might think China is losing momentum or has lost a lot of momentum. But here's what surprised me. When you step outside into the metro, restaurants, shopping streets, China does not at all feel like a country collapsing, as one could occasionally think when listening to Western commentators. Yes, it feels like a machine that slowed down, but never stopped. The streets are active. People move fast. Things happen. The spirit is still very driven. And that's connected to something many in the West underestimate. China has a culture of pushing forward hard. Chinese people often mention this famous 996, meaning from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. That's how work is. Whether you like it or not, this mindset creates motion. Like a swarm of ants rebuilding a city, everyone carries something, everyone has a direction. And there's another layer. Many families still remember harder times, not long ago. That changes your baseline. If your baseline is, we survive, a slowdown doesn't break you, it makes you work harder. Or in other words, Chinese people can suffer. If things get harder, there's still a lot of capacity to tighten belts, adapt quickly, and push forward until momentum returns. Something I believe Western societies are no longer capable of, if they ever were capable to that extent. Another myth. You can't talk about anything in China. In the West, people often say, in China, you can't talk about politics. You can't criticize anything. What I experience is much more nuanced. In familiar company, dinners, friends, a beer, people talk a lot. We discussed society, policies, even leadership, and I heard real criticism, sometimes very, very harsh, and nothing happened. No drama, no consequences in daily life. The reality is, what people say depends a lot on who is in the circle. Once you're with friends, and there's trust. Conversations can become, for many of you, surprisingly open, especially when they feel you understand China beyond the usual cliches. Yes, there are cameras, monitoring, and there is a feeling of you never fully know. But it's not black and white. It's more like walking in a room with a lower ceiling. You can move freely, but you still feel there's somewhere that ceiling above you. Now then, I want to mention a visible shift. Foreigners are back. One big change compared to earlier this year, foreigners are back, especially in Shanghai. Half a year ago, in some venues, you could count foreigners on one hand. This time, some of the same places were packed with foreigners. Why? Because China changed visa rules and made it much easier for many countries to come to China. Around months visa-free it is now. And that matters more than people think. Because Western perceptions of China are often distorted. Or mostly distorted, I want to say. By the distance. By headlines, politics, and social media bubbles. But when people go to China with open eyes, many come back surprised. They expect gray, they find neon. They expected friction, they find convenience. They expected a closed world, they find daily life is really modern, comfortable, and often very, very easy. That's soft power. Quiet, but strong. For those foreigners, it's like stepping into a different reality, one that quietly rewrites assumptions. Now, the biggest surprise for me in China, AI is now everywhere. The part that really made me raise my eyebrows is in fact AI. Not long ago, when I spoke with executives, especially in the banking area, the topic felt very quiet. Like a ship anchored in the harbor, no movement, no wake. This time, sails are up, wind is in, and the ship is flying out of the harbor, leaving a deep wake behind. AI tools are used across many areas now, at universities and in businesses. And the question isn't, should we use AI? It's, where can we use AI next? And you feel something very Chinese here, a deep belief in progress. It is a part of the Chinese cultural DNA. When the green light is on, people move fast. And the last topic, stablecoins. A quiet fire in China. In public institutions, discussions can be careful. There are boundaries, but in practice, interests is huge. Workshops, deep discussions, people building knowledge. And it's not only young people. Older professionals are sharp and up to speed. One reason? China has a strong STEM foundation, science and engineering. You feel it in the way that people talk about technology, direct, practical, and detailed. So yes, stablecoins are being discussed in China at a level that easily matches with what we see, for instance, in Switzerland. My conclusion: China is not perfect. China has real problems, but the picture of a depressed, broken country doesn't fit at all what I saw. What I saw was a place that slowed down, yet stays intensely alive. A place where people work, adapt and push forward. A place reopening its doors and changing minds, one visitor at a time. And a place where AI and digital finance are not future talk. they're becoming daily reality. So, if we want to understand China better, we can't judge it only through headlines and online comments. We have to look at what people actually do every day, at work, on campus, in shops, in the metro, in business meetings. In the next episode, I'll share 3 concrete things that the West often misunderstands about China and what we can learn from it without copying it. If that interests you, subscribe my YouTube channel and send me one question you want answered from the inside of China. Because the world is changing fast, and from too far away you don't see reality, you only see a blurry picture.